just because there's a market price for a starting franchise quarterback doesn't mean you're not going to overpay for some of these guys. How many people think that the Cowboys, and by the way, Dak's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And on one hand, you guys like telling me that Dak Prescott is overrated. And yet he's better than Jalen. And he makes $42 million a year, $42 to $45 million. Are you trying to tell me you're gonna pay more to Jalen Hurts, who's not better than Dak Prescott? What do you think Lamar Jackson is worth? What would you pay him? What would you pay Lamar Jackson right now per year in Baltimore? Unanimous MVP, led the NFL in touchdown passes, 1,400 yards rushing one year. Went actually two, and also wins. In wins, he was 14-2 one season when fully healthy. Yuri says $45 million. G says $50 million. Fat Mattress 45, $250 million. I'm assuming that's going to be over 5 years. BC, $45 million for 4 years, 120, says Rage. 205, Norris. GT says drop $50 million on him. BC MVP. Dak is turning into a bad investment for Jerry. Well, I completely think he has a massive year this year to show everybody he can win big games. Because Dak Prescott has not won big games. You know, if I'm going to be critical on Jalen Hurts not winning significant games, what's the most significant game that Dak Prescott has won? That Seattle playoff game? Did they beat? I think they beat Seattle in the postseason. That was like 3 years ago. Am I right when I'm saying that? I thought there was like a significant postseason win he had where he beat Russell Wilson. I forget what that was. But I thought he beat Russell Wilson in the playoffs. And to me, that's probably the most significant win that he's ever had. Okay? It's probably the most significant win. Because I really can't think of another one. Dak has done nothing with way more talent. True. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Quite frankly, the only thing you had last year, well, you could say the same thing about Carson Wentz in Indianapolis. Well, that's not true. Well, wait a minute. The Eagles had the number one rushing attack in the league, and the Colts had the number one runner. They only had Michael Pittman, and Wentz still threw for 27 touchdowns and 7 picks. And was 9-8 and won as many games as Jalen in a tougher conference than the NFC. And Wentz did more than Jalen last year. Okay? He's just in a more talented conference, the AFC. Okay? So, I mean, Wentz actually did more than Jalen last year. But, hey, he had worse moments than Jalen, too. Again, that's one thing you're always going to get with me here. I'm going to be fair on the conversation. Okay? Yeah, Brian, I remember that Seahawks team wasn't all that hyped up. What teams made the playoffs last year? They won't this season. We'll hit on that a little bit. They picked up a running back just for depth and lost to Jacksonville. I get it. He had a better year, though, than Jalen did last year. He beat more significant teams, too. Carson Wentz had a better year last year than Jalen did, throwing the ball, too. It's a fact. I'm not suggesting to you any other thing than the fact that, and were the Eagles better? Yeah. He just wasn't better than Wentz. You can't line anything up and tell me where Carson Wentz didn't outplay Jalen Hurts last year. Care what you say. He beat the Bills. He beat numerous playoff teams. What up, Jeff Bone? Statistically, yes, but the dude is a basket case. Brian, yes, I buy that. I'm with you, man. And I said it on that Monday, and I'll never forget looking at Xander and telling him the same thing. You can't lose to Jacksonville. You cannot lose to Jacksonville. And that's why he's no longer in Indianapolis. Absolutely. You cannot lose to Jacksonville. How much credit does Hurts get for making the playoffs? As a runner, a ton. As a runner, they were the number one running attack because of him. Absolutely. As a running quarterback, he gets a lot of the credit with the O-line. They didn't throw themselves into the playoffs, and when they had to throw, they got annihilated. Boy, Brian, that's a name from the past. Jeff George 2.0. Wow. Oh, man. Tall running back, Ohio State. Ohio State puts out good backs. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So you would pay Lamar Jackson $50 million. Let's just go $45 to $50 million. Okay? Are you trying to suggest to me that you're going to pay Jalen Hurts the same? Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, is going to pay him the same money. When I look at Dak Prescott and I see $42 million, do you think I see Deshaun Watson? When you look at Russell Wilson, do you see Dak Prescott? Just because there's a market price for a starting franchise quarterback doesn't mean you're not going to overpay for some of these guys. How many people think that the Cowboys, and by the way, Dak's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And on one hand, you guys like telling me that Dak Prescott is overrated. And yet he's better than Jalen. And he makes $42 million a year, $42 to $45 million. Are you trying to tell me you're gonna pay more to Jalen Hurts, who's not better than Dak Prescott, $45 million? You just got through telling me Dak's overrated. He's better than Jalen. He's a better passer. But you want to pay a guy $45 million because he has Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. That's why you're paying him? I got a problem with that. He ain't better than Dak. As an Eagle fan, it hurts to admit. Hey, and by the way, Rage, I want to make sure everyone knows when I say that, I think the Eagles are going to have a great year, and I think the Eagles are going to have a better record than the Cowboys. He's not better than him, though. We see that all the time. Guys overpay for the Cowboys are notorious for overpaying positions. We know this. The Eagles are not. What is the one position that you could tell me that the Eagles have overpaid for over the last 10 years? Wide receiver? Alshon Jeffries? Do you think you overpaid for A.J. Brown? Hey, that's a good question, too. You think they overpaid for A.J. Brown? Dak was better than Wentz, and the Eagles chose Wentz over Super Bowl winning Foles. Dak's a better passer, but Hurts has a run game and doesn't turn the ball over. He still wins games. I didn't suggest he doesn't. I said he's not a passing quarterback like Dak. Dak is superior when it comes to throwing the ball. Overpaid for Wentz. Okay. Fletcher Cox. I think Fletcher, man, I don't know about overpaying for Fletcher. So, Sills, are you saying if Dak was on the Eagles, he would be worth the money? I wouldn't have paid Dak Prescott $42 million. I would have let him go on the open market, and I would have let him test The market. I never said that, Xander. I didn't say that they overpaid for Fletcher. I don't think so. Fletcher, I don't. I don't think they overpaid for him. Even when he was at $18 million. I don't. I think Fletcher's I think he's all good. I don't have a problem with him. I do have a problem with $30 million lined up in my two defensive tackles, though. You got $30 million lined up in two players in your DTs, and you just drafted a guy, which means one of them guys is gone. Okay? One of those guys is gone in the offseason. Hargrave or Fletcher. You got $30 million. You got 12.9 lined up in Hargrave, and you've got 14.4 lined up, both of them going into their last years of their contracts, too, and will be free agents at the end of the year. One of them guys is gone. They ain't bringing both them dudes back at $15 million. That ain't happening when you just drafted a guy 13th. Use your common sense here. Fletcher Cox's final season in Philadelphia is this year. This is a goodbye. They ain't putting $15 million on him. Now, he may take less money because Fletcher might see something there and put it around incentives. He may be the one staying if he has a comeback season from what he did a year ago. Hargrave's a younger guy. They'll probably keep him, though. And by the way, it's just the league. It's just the way it is. Adama Katsu turned out to be a gypsy his last couple of years, going from L.A. or Miami to L.A. to the Bucks. He turned out to be a guy at the end where he was chasing paychecks and championships, too. It's no shade on guys. That's what the league is today. It's all good. Okay? He would have to take a huge pay cut. Trey Sermon, I saw that. The Eagles signed him. Good. Got some depth in the running back position. A dude. Josh Allen got Stephon Diggs and got elite. Okay? Jalen Hurts is not Josh Allen. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Never at any time in his life has he ever shown the accuracy as Josh Allen. Ever. Even at Oklahoma. That's something you're either or you're not. Look at Peters trying to get paid by the Cowboys. Good for him. Good for him. What's wrong with that? I don't have a problem with a guy being called. Shit, they tried calling Whitmore, the Cowboys, the guy who just retired from the Rams. That's how desperate they are. What? Are you guys under some impression you don't think that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones haven't called Howie Roseman on Andre Dillard? You don't. There was no way Andre Dillard was ever getting cut. The Cowboys and the Bucks Giants would have swooped that guy up in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. That guy's not getting released. Quarterback has been our most overpaid position. That's why they're not going to pay Jalen Hurts $45 million. I think they would franchise tag him. Okay? Steven says that Baltimore is not going to re-sign Lamar. Lamar Jackson then will get $50 million on the open market. He'll get $50 million. Who would you rather have in Chicago? A 26-year-old Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields? You're high if you say Fields. Who would you rather have in San Francisco? Trey Lance or Lamar Jackson? You put Lamar Jackson on that 49er roster, they'll go 16-1. You put Lamar Jackson on the Eagle roster, they may go 16-1. I wouldn't doubt Tobin in Cincinnati wanted Dillard. Yeah, give me all the stats you want. Use your eyeball test, dog. There's no way on the planet, Brian. You sit here right now and go at any time, even when Shady McCoy first got to Buffalo, he said there was something magical and special about Josh Allen. Even when he was struggling in his second year, he said, this guy may not be today, but he is special. He is special. No one has ever said that about Jalen Hurts' passing potential. Yeah, Xander, we said it. Trey Sermon, Ohio State running back, is a member of the Eagles. More depth. It's good. Love Shady. Love Shady McCoy. Josh Allen, 6'5". I know who he is. I watched him when he was in the Mountain West at Wyoming. Not a very good senior year, pretty good sophomore year. He had more talent. And he's getting the best coaching he's ever had in his entire career, all the way from high school to Wyoming to now in Buffalo. He's had people like Brian Dable. He's had people like Ken Dorsey around him. Sean McDermott talking to him about defenses and teaching him how to read defenses. This guy's basically gone to Harvard when it comes to playing the quarterback position and understanding the position, being educated on the position. Not everybody has the same understanding of, even we hear Patrick Mahomes saying it. You know, all these people keep talking to me about Lincoln Riley and all these great quarterbacks he's produced. Who? Who has he produced? Kyler Murray? Of all the quarterbacks in the league, Kyler Murray might not be in my top 10 that I would pick to win a game. Okay? He might not be in my top 10 if I had to go. If I have to pick 10 quarterbacks to go and win a Super Bowl and you give me 60 minutes, would Kyler Murray be in the top 10? I don't think so. Okay? I don't think so. Who's Lincoln Riley produced? Right? Xander's like, not mine either, man. Baker Mayfield? I mean, what quarterbacks have come out of Oklahoma where they called this guy some sort of QB whisperer? Well, you turn dudes that are suspect into decent players. Hey, welcome to coaching. Welcome to coaching. Turning suspect guys into stars. Okay, well, usually that's what a good coach tries to do. Nobody said Josh Allen was a bust, ever. That is another lie. Philly D, nobody on the planet with any sense said Josh Allen was a bust in Buffalo. Nobody. Everybody kept saying, wow, this guy is a unicorn. Okay? That roster struggled. They started putting better pieces around him. They went and got Stephon Diggs. They improved the O-line. They improved the defense because they knew there'd be a ton of 3-and-outs. That's kind of what they've done in Philly. They've rebuilt the defense because why? They know there's going to be a ton of 3-and-outs early on in the year like there was a year ago because they're going to try to throw the ball. Nobody said that. Absolute lie. Okay? Nobody said Josh Allen was a bust. Shit, they just basically said that Baker Mayfield was a bust after 65 starts. Surprised they didn't get Mac. He's a Sirianni guy. Well, because Howie doesn't want... Hey, Howie doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver right now with that cap. Xander educated me on the cap in Philly. There's not a ton of room in there. He's pretty much done all the work he can do right now. And most of the things would be done with 6th and 7th rounders. And that's why getting the kid CJ from the Saints and you're moving around 6th and 7th round draft choices and a player and you land on that guy, that's what makes that move remarkable. In my opinion, in the offseason, if we were deeper in the offseason, you might get a 3 or 4 for the kid. He's a starter. He's versatile. Play him in the nickel. Play him at corner. He's good enough to play safety. He's big enough to play safety too. Okay? Hey, Seals, do you think there's a chance that Howie already made the decision to move on? No, I don't. Kyle, because here, I don't believe that decision has been made. But what I do believe is, I think they had, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think the front office sat down with the owner and said this: I'm going to trade with the Saints. I have an opportunity. There's no way he did not clear this through Jeffrey Lurie. You guys tell me if you think I'm wrong. You don't trade first-round draft choices away without talking to the owner. You don't own the team. You run the team. There's no way he made that Saints move without the owner knowing. So what he did was he contacted Mickey Loomis. I actually have some insight on it, but not all the T's crossed and I's dotted. He talked to Mickey Loomis. I want to trade. I want to get, and how they work that extra first-round pick next year. Then he goes to the owner. And he says to the owner, I got a chance to make a trade and get 2 ones next year. It's a talented, rich NFL draft. By the way, I got some names. Bledsoe just ranked the top 5, I think it is, quarterbacks. And there's a new ranking for the upcoming class. And I kind of want to hit on that a little bit. We'll do that at the bottom. There's no way he didn't go in there and say, I'm going to make a trade. We're going to hedge our bets. We're all hoping Jalen Hurts absolutely comes through. Because the Eagles don't want to pay $35, $40 million. Why? Because this gives them the chance to build the roster still and continue it. That's why if you drop the franchise tag on his ass at $35 million, you're still ahead of the game. Because the open market price for these guys now is between 46 and 50. You're still going to have $10 million to $15 million in cap room if you franchise tag the kid. Plus, it gives them a chance to build the team up even more around him. Okay? They're hoping all that. Then you could take that first-round draft, those 2 ones you have, you might want to move up. And God forbid you land on Will Anderson. I doubt it. He's probably going to be the 3rd player taken because these quarterbacks will get elevated and evaluated higher. Look, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are not better talents than Will Anderson. But the position's valued more. That's why when you pay for quarterbacks, you miss. And sometimes you overpay for those guys because why? They were over-evaluated in the draft. Look at Josh Rosen. Look at Baker Mayfield. Look at Brandon Weeden. Look at Carson Wentz. Look at Jared Goff. These are all dudes that were over-evaluated and then overpaid. It's the position. Will Anderson's the better player. He's the best player in the country. There's nobody better than him. Nobody. It's Saban's greatest player. Will Anderson is Nick Saban's greatest football player he has ever coached and recruited. Bar nobody else. That includes Derrick Henry. This guy's going to be like Derek Thomas coming into the league. You think that kid from Georgia would have been a number 1 overall selection in the draft? If Will Anderson had decided to put his hand up and want to come out, he'd have been number 1. BC Stroud is not. BC is in that stupid room of Ohio State quarterbacks are good still. Good night. In 160 years of football, Ohio State has never produced an NFL quarterback worth a shit. And all of a sudden now, C.J. Stroud is going to be that guy. Good night. You got to be kidding me. He's the savior. Right. 160 years. OSU's been playing football. They've never had a quarterback worth a shit. Well, maybe Art Schlichter a little bit. Do your research before speaking on quarter. Name me one. Name me one quarterback from Ohio State you land on. Name me one. One guy. that came out of that school that was worth a shit. Name me what? Oh, Joe Burrow, you're going to take credit for a guy you kicked out of school? He went to LSU, won a national title and a Heisman, and look at the Ohio State people taking credit for him. That's beautiful. Ryan Day said, no, Justin Fields and God bless his soul, Dwayne Haskins were better than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Nobody's talking about Wyoming or Oregon being quarterback factories, but I'll tell you, an Oregon quarterback that's in the Hall of Fame, his name is Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts, Oregon, Hall of Famer, NFL. I agree, Xander. I think Fields has played better. Okay? Oregon has a Hall of Fame quarterback. His name is Dan Fouts. He played for the Chargers. Do your homework. Do your homework. Oh, my God. Don't start barking at me like that. Troy Smith, another great one. Holy cow, man. Didn't the Ravens try making him a wide receiver? Yeah. Hey, dude. Hey, BC. It's all good, man. I would say this to you. Take the rest of the day off. It's all good, brother. Josh Allen shouldn't have been drafted because Wyoming's had no – oh, nobody said that, jackass. I said Ohio State's never produced a quarterback ever. Wyoming has. Wyoming has. And, oh, by the way, I'll give you another better one. Take a look at Purdue in the Big Ten when it comes to quarterback history. See, Drew Brees, Hall of Famer. Lynn Dawson, Hall of Famer. Bob Greasy, Hall of Famer. Shit, even Jim Everett was good. And he was a good player. I mean, I can name you 5 guys that went on to superstar status in the NFL out of Purdue. Can't name you one from Ohio State. Can't name you Bobby Howie. Yeah, ask Bobby Howie. No, man, I love you guys. So if I'm the Eagles, man, you think that organization's not going to they're going to franchise tag that guy. Okay? They're going to franchise. They're not going to give him a contract. They're not going to give him a 3-year, $45 million contract. Do you really see the Philadelphia Eagles doing that? No way. They'll treat him like Dak a little bit here. Now, if I were Jalen, I would do exactly what I said earlier. Hey, and by the way, we're doing this because Russell Wilson's signing his contract. I said this before, Xander, and I'll say it again. I would sign a $35 million 3-year deal. Okay? 25, 27. I'll be 27 years old. And if the guy balls out, the Eagles are going to come to him and go, we're going to restructure a deal and put an extension on that where we're going to sign you to a 5-year contract at $45 to $50 million. I think that's how they're going to handle it. And Jalen's going to go like this. I'll take it. Okay? That's what I would do. I might guarantee you more of the money too because you've been such a good sport and you've been a true trooper. Xander goes, that's what I'd like to do, but his agent might not take $1 under $40 million. I don't know what his stance would be if they're running the ball. That's why, again, how he looks this year too is going to be a point. Because then the Eagles could turn around and look at them and go like this. Shit, man, I'll get Tyrod Taylor to run the offense. If we're just going to run offensive quarterbacks and he's going to be the leading rusher, I'll just get an RPO guy in here. If you're at 3,200 yards passing, 3,300 yards passing and 20 touchdowns, he ain't getting $50 million. That's why I might want to take the 35 with a signing bonus. Give him a chance to improve. He's going to improve this much. Not what you think, this much. Not even Josh Allen did that. Not even Joe Burrow. Not even Aaron Rodgers. This guy's not Aaron Rodgers. Give him a chance. Want to pay him $45 million? I'm not paying that guy $45 million. I don't give a shit what he does. Okay, if he throws for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns, it's a different conversation. I get it. Okay? GT goes, well, then, GT, what team in the NFL do you think would give Jalen Hurts $45 million at the end of the year? Who would give him $45 million? The Bears? Who? The Jets? They don't have any pieces up there. Who? The Niners aren't. They're quarterback hell right now. The Packers? Packers ain't doing that. What team in the NFL would pay Jalen Hurts $45 million outside of Philly? The Ravens would never. So wait a minute. They're not going to pay Lamar Jackson $50 million or $45 million, but they'll pay Jalen? Okay. You guys are high on Jalen Hurts. That is not happening. Here, wait. Let's get rid of Lamar and sign an unproven guy who can't throw the ball $45 million with no receivers in Baltimore. Shit, in Philly, he's got AJ and Devontae. What again do you have in Baltimore? You got a tight end. The Texans ain't paying $50 million for that guy. Yeah. My God almighty. Baker got overpaid. They're not paying. Red says they're not paying Jalen that kind of. Hey, Red, this is why I'm saying if I were them, hey, if they're so sold, why aren't they talking contract now? You guys make it sound okay. GT and all the rest of you guys, if this guy's in the room with $45 million right now, why aren't they talking today? Or do you think they've already started talking contract with him? You think the Eagles have already – Joe Burrow, they're starting to talk to Joe Burrow. They're going into his third year now. The Bengals are starting to talk about contract extension with Burrow. Didn't Kyler Murray just get paid with 2 years remaining on his contract in Arizona? So do you think that the Eagles have been talking to Jalen Hurts about a contract extension? Russell Wilson got paid today. Lamar's in line for big money. Deshaun got the Brinks truck. He's got the ultimate deal. GT goes, they have, I think. GT, I think they kind of have started it a little bit too. I don't think gas pedal stuff, you know what I mean? Where you're stepping on it. Justin says Washington is known to spend money and have bad free agent signings. I hate to do this, but you're right. Oh, hey, man. All around says they already started contract talks with themselves. Mike, you don't think so? Well, shit, everyone's talking in Philadelphia like it's a no-brainer. He's having massive success. Well, if that's the case, why did Howie make that move with the Saints? Doesn't that move with the Saints make you pause on the salary and an extension? Or do you think that was out there for the agent? Think of that. Hey, Howie Vision strikes again. Howie Vision strikes again. I think I figured this thing out. Howie Vision. I need time. Howie Vision has struck again. I'm going to lay a scenario out for you. You know Big Sills is a pot stirrer, right? You know that I'm a big conspiracy theorist. I am. I won't lie to you. I think I got it. I'm going to lay it on you here. Hey, don't forget my friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. We'll do it, by the way, after the timeout here. Look, if you're hurt or injured on the job, there's only one attorney firm for you to call. That is Morgan & Morgan. Please do me a favor and call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. With over 800 attorneys in offices in Philadelphia, New York, and in Florida, there is nobody bigger in the country that will protect you and your family's rights when it comes to getting you fair compensation. No one in America will make it happen like Morgan & Morgan. There's no such thing as a fender bender, and they will not be intimidated. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, tell them Big Sil sent you.
After a car crash, the big insurance companies you see advertising on TV, they may try to downplay your case and might say it's only a fender bender or it's just a herniated disc. I worry that some law firms fall for this BS. Not us. We put ourselves in your shoes and ask, what would it be like to be in your pain for the rest of our lives? $1 million wouldn't be enough for me. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.